Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I have a pretty cool treat for you guys. The folks over at Lensun Solar sent me this hood-mounted solar panel for the Jeep. They do make them for other vehicles. So I'm going to go over the components that they sent, as well as the install on this, and why you might want to get this for your rig as well. Stay tuned. So this right here is a 45-watt hood-mounted solar panel for the Jeep. Like I mentioned, they do make them for other vehicles too, and it is pretty flexible. It's not going to fold like paper, all right, but it is going to match the contours of the vehicle you select it for. Okay, so you do see right here, these are the panels themselves, or this is the panel itself with the MPPT fittings to make it super, how can I put it, reliable and efficient. This kit does come with the controller as well, and it looks like it is pitted. I'll show you guys here shortly. So it's waterproof, rated at IP68 according to the specifications, and it's a pretty easy plug and play, a 5-foot MPPT cord that hooks up to the solar panels. That way, whatever you hook this up to, in my case, it's going to be the main 12-volt AGM battery in my 4xe, which I have a funny story to tell you guys. All right, it's got some cable management zip ties with double-sided tape mounts to put on the inside of your engine bay. That way you don't have cables just hanging around. Double-sided tape, 2 rolls of it, so you could neatly place them on the back right here. Don't mind that, it's a bit dirty. Neatly place them on the back here to keep it adhered to on your Jeep. That way you don't need some bulky racks or crazy equipment just to have solar, all right? And again, this is a 45-watt panel. They do make higher wattage ones, but because they did send it to me for free, you know, I'm not gonna get picky either. I did my research on the company before I accepted this solar panel, because I don't just wanna review anything for you guys that gets sent to me for free, okay? So Lensun Solar, there are a few other YouTubers out there using this. I've seen nothing but good things about it. There is another more expensive company I'm not gonna name, and if you guys know me, I like to go budget, all right? So we have this. This right here is an optional vinyl protectant, so if you don't wanna damage your hood once you remove it in the future, because let's face it, we don't know if people are gonna keep these on forever, right? Sometimes you're gonna do things to your vehicle, modify it, wrap it, whatever, paint it, and okay, scratch the paint part. But if you don't want to be removing double-sided tape residue off of the painted surface, they do offer this vinyl that matches, again, the contour of your vehicle, so you could put the panel on top of it, all right? Which, if you guys don't opt in for the vinyl, a nice way to remove any type of adhesives off of a painted surface is a 3M eraser wheel on a drill. That thing works wonders. Look it up. All right, and you got the user manuals too. So I'm gonna go a little bit more further detail on this, show you guys the specs, all right? Scratch that. Before I go into the specifications of this specific solar panel, I do have to mention to you guys, a few weeks ago, I left my Starlink Mini hooked up to the Jeep. There's a little 12-volt outlet on the back side of the Jeep, and me thinking, hey, I've got a 4xe, maybe that accessory is powered with the 4xe high power battery, right? The high voltage battery that provides propulsion for the Jeep. I was wrong. I left my Jeep parked for about 2 weeks. I wasn't using it, I was using another vehicle. And one day, I think I was gonna wash the Jeep, drive my kids to school, something. I tried to turn it on and I noticed that my key fob wasn't unlocking it. So I used a manual key to unlock it. And no lights are turning on. All right, so I'm like, man. So coming to find out, I had drained the AGM battery completely, which is a main 12-volt battery that I guess is a starting battery for these 4xEs. So I tried jumping it, it started up right away. I drove the Jeep for about 50 miles, came back home and turned it off. I tried to turn it back on, and right away, nothing, not even a single dash light turned on. So that battery was toast. Cooked, all right? So imagine how I felt. I have a Jeep that's about a year old, all right? I got it brand new. So I'm thinking, man, these AGM batteries, they're not cheap. So I tried charging it with a little trickle charger I had for a Harley I used to have. Didn't work. I jumped on Amazon. I found a product that is supposed to repair dead batteries. This thing, when I checked it with my voltmeter, it was at about 3 volts. A shop will tell you, dude, this battery is toast. Somehow though, the little charger, a smart charger that I got for AGM batteries from Amazon was about 70 bucks, arrived overnight. I plugged that in overnight, disconnected the battery, took it out of the Jeep completely. I plugged it in overnight. By the next day, it was charged 100% and it's been good ever since. I bring that up because if I would have had this hood mounted solar panel hooked up to the Jeep during the time when I was not using the Jeep, I'm pretty sure it would have maintained my battery and I would have avoided all that, you know, panicking, having to buy something to charge the battery, possibly damaging the battery from draining it so low and then charging it back up again, you know. So I know it's only 45 watts. The Starlink Mini only draws about 25 watts. So I'm pretty positive this would have helped out a bit. And that's actually one of the benefits of this. It helps maintain your battery, especially if you're gonna charge or not drive your overland rig. If it's used mainly for off-roading or overlanding, let's face it, you guys don't go out there every day. So it helps out with that. If you have a painted hood, that sometimes you get glare, it helps for that too, all right? So this material here, as you can see, here, let me get closer. It does not glare. And I can't describe the feel of it, but I am pretty good at describing sounds and showing sounds to you guys, as crazy as that sounds. Check it out. So right away, it's got like a rubbery plastic feel. I'm gonna get a little bit closer for you guys. You have the Lensun solar logo right here, and the craftsmanship on this is actually pretty cool. And these are the specifications I was telling you about for this particular panel. All right, so just press pause if you want to read it a bit. All right, but it is right there. And like I mentioned, they do have different wattages, different applications for different vehicles. Okay, and what I'm going to do for you guys, obviously not right now because it's nighttime for me, but in the following days, same video, I'm going to go over the install. It's a pretty simple install. So that's it for the parts. We're gonna go ahead and prep everything and get ready for the install, guys. All right, guys, now that I've got everything laid out here, I'm gonna go ahead and use the provided double-sided tape and arrange it here on the back of the solar panel. All right, because this will be going on top of a surface that's going to constantly be receiving heat from the sun. In an effort to keep this as cool as possible, I am going to leave some gaps so air could go in and out, just to have that constant flow of air, you know, like a heat dissipation system, if you may. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into this, and I'm going to arrange this as best as I can with some scissors and a little X-Acto blade. All right, let's get to it. Alright, so there we go. Just put the double-sided tape on the back of this, and as you guys could tell, I do have some gaps right here. Just my poor attempt at getting some heat dissipation. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and wipe down the hood of the Jeep. There should still be some light out, so we'll go ahead and do that right now and just mount this on, see how it looks. Alright, it's very important we get the mounting surfaces nice and dry and clean and degreased, so we're going to use some more IPA. And it's going to be on this main decal part of the hood where the 4xe is. So let's go ahead and do that now real quick. Be generous with the alcohol, guys. This stuff is cheap, all right? And yes, the hood was already semi-clean prior to me doing this. And if you guys are wondering why I'm not using that little protective decal, is because I'm not too concerned about the removal of this. If I do plan on removing it to replace the tape or something. Like I mentioned in the earlier part of the video, they do have a 3M eraser wheel that works wonders. Plus, if I damage anything, it'll be on this decal, and that's replaceable. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start removing the backing off the double-sided tape before I get it on the Jeep. All right, I've got that removed. Now we're gonna go ahead and install this. Hopefully I center it properly. It's only one of me, so don't mess it up. Get my spacing right. I'm not gonna press it down just yet. All right, it actually lined up pretty good. Start pressing from the center out. Perfect. I'll go ahead and pop the hood now to route these cables through the inside. And I am gonna leave some weights here overnight, or something relatively heavy, just to weigh it down and make sure it mates and adheres properly. All right, just guide these cables on through. Undo this little bread twisty thing. Wire ties, cable ties, whatever you want to call them. If the fittings or the connectors don't go through, just open your hood a little bit more and it should create enough clearance to pass them through. All right, so I found these weights that I had inside a weighted vest here that are perfect for this. Not too heavy, and it won't damage the hood. Here we go. Mix and match some weights here from a different vest, and we should be good to go. The weights are set on the hood. It's going to provide some nice even distribution of weight, have that double-sided tape adhere properly, and it's going to give it enough time too. That way when I'm driving, I'm not going to be too concerned about this peeling up. All right, so let's go ahead and just wait, and see you guys tomorrow. All right, guys, another day. I got the weights off this morning off of the hood, and it looks pretty good. You know, with the exception that this panel does cover the E and partial X on the 4xe decal on the hood, but it's all right, guys. For the most part, it looks pretty clean. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and pop this hood, fix that wire back there, make it a little bit more or conceal a little bit more, and then we're just gonna go ahead and wire that other piece of controller on. All right, and I have this awesome feature I'm gonna show you guys afterwards. So here we have the solar charge controller, and everything is really easy to hook up, literally. Okay, so you have the two main wires here, cables that go straight to the solar panels, which you can't get wrong. All right, and this is a little Bluetooth antenna. All right, that's a cool feature I was gonna show you guys. This one right here, it shows you on the little diagram, it goes to any other accessory you want to power with the solar panel, and these red and black wires go straight to the battery, and it has a built-in inline fuse. All right, so all we're really going to plug in right now is these two cables to the battery, and then this is going to go straight to the solar panels. Super easy. I want to show you guys how clean this setup came out here. You can see all sides adhere properly, and you can't even lift that. All right, so the weights did help, and this is the section right here I was telling you guys about. I'm gonna go ahead and conceal it a little bit more once I pop this hood, and I do a little bit of the cable management. For the most part, it looks pretty awesome. From far away, you can't even tell the solar panel is on. All right, so I found a spot where I could mount this charge controller right under the hood. It's gonna be right on top of this fuse box right here. And man, what I love about these Jeeps is they design these terminals with modularity in mind. You know, you could hook up all kinds of electronics to the AGM battery without having to tap into different wires and whatnot. You know, so we're gonna go ahead and install this right here on top of the fuse box like I mentioned, and I have some double-sided tape on the back of this. It's gonna go neatly on top right here, and don't mind my current cable management situation. I've never been known for proper cable management, but that will get fixed one of these days. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start unscrewing the two little terminals up here, or the spots where the wires are gonna go, and hook up the connectors. And here are our two main connectors from the solar panel. Can't get it wrong. Easy day. This negative is It's gonna go on the negative post. Easy day, baby. Let's go. Now my positive. And again, guys, I'm gonna come back here later once I have a little bit more time on my hands and just really take my time and organize these cables down here. All right, put the nut back on. There we go. Not too snug, but good enough. Sorry, it's my neighbors. Go ahead and remove the backing off this double-sided tape. I'm using a different double-sided tape for this. It's one rated for about 25 pounds. But go ahead and press that in right there. And these two other little wires here, I'm just gonna let them hang out like that until I think of maybe another accessory to hook up to this solar controller so I could charge it. Might be another battery accessory, who knows? But I'll just leave these two little cables like that, and a Bluetooth little cable could hang out right there too. All right, so the hood portion of this is already set. Again, I'm leaving this like this for now, right? And you could see the charger already giving me some readings right there because it is hooked up to the battery. All right, guys, so here's the cool part I was telling you guys about earlier. This solar panel, you compare it to an app. All right, you could monitor the solar panel charge, the current battery state, and also the load, how much is going out. Right now, as you can see, it's not really sunny out, but I only have the battery state. So let me get close here for you guys. And here would be your monitoring phases here. So daytime mode shows my battery is currently at 94%. I did mention that I had to charge that battery once already and had to repair a few cells using a little Amazon device I got. But right now, the panels, they're not providing any charge for obvious reasons, right? There's no sun out. The battery state, it's currently at 12.62 volts. All right, I need to change that to Fahrenheit. And the load, there is nothing hooked up to this right now that is drawing a load. So that is all gonna be 0 and 0. All right, so it's pretty cool. All right, guys, so finally it's sunny out. It was overcast and raining yesterday. Right now it's still kind of cloudy. We got a little bit of rain, so I had to wash down the just the surface of the solar panels, and we're about to go take it on a spin to show you guys the glare or lack of glare. So here's a panel again, and it's holding on nicely. None of the corners or edges are peeling up yet. I don't expect them to anytime soon. All right. And hopefully my theory tests well regarding the gaps in the tape. I do say, all right, that cooler solar panels perform way better than when they're hot. So that is my hope with these panels right here. The cooler they perform, the more wattage I get out of them. Okay, so let me just go ahead and take this little solar shade off of the Jeep real quick, and we'll hit the road. Quick little 2-minute ride. So I want to show you guys here with the amount of sunlight that we've got right now. Okay, it's to give you an idea, it's generating 21.8 volts so far. It's actually pretty good, and it's charging / floating charge for the 12-volt battery. So I guess what that means is it's going to maintain the charge, and as soon as the battery peaks, it'll stop charging it. You know, and anything else that's hooked up to the solar panel with those other two auxiliary wires I showed you guys that we just left hanging there, the black and red ones, those will continue to charge. All right, so let's go ahead and take a little cruise here and show you guys the lack of glare on this hood. No glare at all, guys. And not to say that I had glare on this hood. It's just since I got the 4xe, it's got that matte 4xe decal with the black and the light blue. All right, so those of you guys that have a fully painted gloss hood, this will alleviate some of that glare that you guys see during certain hours of the day. All right, so it's actually a pretty cool, I guess, secondary benefit to this little solar panel right here. I really could have used this panel back when I told you guys that my battery had I drained completely because of that Starlink. You know, that Starlink only draws about 25 watts of electricity, but being that it didn't drive for about 2 weeks or so, that really did a number on the battery, and a 12-volt battery could only power so much, you know, especially if you're not driving it. So this would definitely help me out, you know, charging the battery during the day. And I kind of want to test it, but at the same time I don't want to damage this battery any further, you know. So maybe I'll leave it plugged in once I go camping, and just have that little Starlink set up for the duration of my camping trips. All right, but I'll brief you guys on that when that time comes. Okay, so all in all, this device right here, the solar panel, I think it's pretty cool. There are other options out there. They're about double the price, you know. So I've seen other YouTubers or other people on YouTube, all right, and Instagram, that installed this same exact setup, right, same manufacturer, Lensun Solar, and these guys are running 2-3+ years with their solar panels, you know. So it's actually a pretty good product for a fraction of the price of what you can find out there. All right, I would recommend it at this point right now, only because, again, if I had this when my battery died, it would have been a lifesaver, you know. Then again, I wouldn't have known that it would have drained my battery, which is why this comes in handy like that. All right, so I'm gonna find out later on what I could hook up to those two little wires, you know, just have some, maybe some other power station hooked up to it, which is awesome, you know, because you have those additional wires sticking out. You can run some wires into your vehicle and have a secondary source of power that charges while you're parked or while you're driving. All right, so that concludes this video, guys. I really do appreciate you guys sticking around this long and watching my content. I know I don't post that much. I'm a busy person, you know, just trying to live the American dream, I bet, of working and eating and sleeping. All right, I've barely gone out camping this season, but hopefully it changes, guys. That's always a hope. Okay, in the meantime, I hope you enjoy what I'm producing for you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one.